Where does OCAP get their money? Do you know?
Absolutely, I'll tell you exactly.
Okay.
We operate on a budget of about $60,000 a year. We don't get a penny of government money. Some organisations make donations to us, a few trade unions.
Mm-hmm.
Overwhelmingly, our money comes from individual people. Relatively small donations that come into us, and it tends to go
the
up.
People see that I find interesting. The people that don't have money are giving you guys money so that you can help fight for them, which is,
That's true.
If you can't eat, that's the next best thing.
Yeah, but it's funny. It seems like G20, your organization, everyone's purpose is to try and make things better for people, whether you believe it or not. I mean, stabilizing the international financial system is basically what they're trying to do. It's not a perfect world. We all know that. It seems like, and you mentioned the media earlier, my point is that when you come on shows and you're on CBC and you do certain things, isn't that just your most effective tool as opposed to these protests?
I don't actually think it is. Even if we had access to the media in ways where, if it were possible for us to move in here and take over this studio and put out what we wanted to put out all day long.
But aren't you doing
that? Would be, well, I'm certainly, I certainly being able to argue a point.
Yeah.
But in terms of the overall what goes out in the media, we have very limited control over that. But even if we did, fundamentally what it comes down to is, look, if you're in a government and somebody from a bank or a major corporation gets hold of you and wants something, you recognise you're dealing with somebody that has some power.
Mm-hmm.
If you're dealing with homeless people, your sense is that they don't really have much power. And in history, poor people have had power when they organise collectively. I don't think that's a wild and wacky proposition. I think it's based on...
You know what it's like? It's sort of like the one kid in the school of 1,000 kids that plays Dungeons and Dragons. Then he realizes there's one other kid that plays Dungeons and Dragons. So they're like best friends. And then they go and try and recruit other people to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I just keep thinking of gangs in New York.
Yeah. See, I got a good email here from a listener. He says, what frustrates him is that if you work hard in life to be successful, you should also feel guilty for those who are not. Yeah. Now, he understands he should give back to our communities, but it's just, he says, basically saying we're expected to have sympathy for those who do not have, but those who have and have earned it are made to feel guilty for it.
Well, I think that if we're talking about the fabulously rich, they seem to be dealing with their guilt fairly well. If we're talking about...
What if you were fabulously rich?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
But what if you were?
If I was, then I probably...
You'd still do this job?
No, if I was, I certainly wouldn't be. I certainly wouldn't be an OCAP.
Well, there you go.
Doesn't that kind of contradict?
That just sort of says the whole thing, doesn't it?